behind the camera. So 48 hours out from your UFC debut, big card in London. What are your initial thoughts come like so close to the fight?
Hello, feeling good, feeling excited, got like a lot of fire in me, and just counting hours, you know, to eat and smash this guy.
Well, speaking of this guy, Cody, specifically, you asked for him after you heard his comments after his last fight. So when you did get this fight announced, fight official, did you go and watch his tape? And if you did, what have you made of his skill set inside the octagon?
I actually watching this fight live. I always watch these flyweights and like bantamweights, and actually speaking to my manager. Same time while we're watching, I'm like, let's get this guy next. Well, he was like, the fight was on. And then he made this comment after interview. I'm like, let's destroy this guy. And also I like to fight somebody like old, experienced in UFC. This is his full fight. To instead of fighting somebody debut guys or on a losing streak, like prove the point straight away and climb up the rankings.
Watching him in this fight, did anything he do impress you in there?
Simple fighter. Like I believe I fought 5 times in 5 days in a row with different kind of fighters, best in the world, back in amateur. And I believe there's some tough kids out there, and he's like he's not something different than other. He's got 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head. Nothing special. You know?
Have you run into him at the hotel?
Yes, I was in a lift with my coach, and I was going upstairs. He opened the lift. I think he was going upstairs too, because he's depressed, you know. And I said, "You're still alive?" And he looked at me, say hello, and he didn't go in, you know. So that's a bad sign, you know. I would go in and see. I'm not gonna eat him in a bit, you know. You know what I mean? I just say like, just stay in touch with US Embassy, you know, after the fight, so you get off straight away.
And then finally, I know you wanted to fight on this card specifically in London. So how has fight week been for you here in the UK preparing for your UFC debut?
Amazing. I came here early. I was in Bahrain for 3 months training camp at KHK. Like we had like strong camp. This is first time I had proper camp, to be honest, in my whole career. I used to compete like 2 weeks before in some wrestling tournament and 3 weeks before in grappling tournaments, and just turn up to fights, like professional fights, but not professional, you know. So, but this is the first time I've done everything properly. And I was actually in 2016 here in the same hotel. My friend Rustam Khabilov was fighting in UFC London. So 6 years later, I'm here on the same card, you know.
What does this mean to the people in Wigan, though? Like, I mean, you and Tom, from Wigan, and 2 of the most talked about fighters in the lead up to this. Have you noticed a buzz? Have you heard from people in the city? Like, I mean, is it creating a big stir?
Yeah, in my school, you know, I went to my school actually, and a lot of people actually tune in and watch. And also I train in Liverpool, like in the mornings and nighttime I train in Manchester, and like all the Northwest, I have like huge support, and it's great to get people behind this sport, you know.
Can you tell us about your relationship with Aspinall's father? What he meant to you on your road to being a professional MMA fighter?
Andy Aspinall, to be honest, my first BJJ coach. Like I trained with him about 5 years, since I was like a kid. And Tom actually was teaching us on kids classes, you know. I used to do the kids class, and then I go to adults class, because I was like a crazy kid, doing like Thai boxing and everything, all classes in a row, in the same day. And Andy, when I left that gym, Andy always stayed in touch with me. And humble family. I wish only best to Tom and his family.
Does this feel like the biggest moment? I mean, you've been under the spotlight since you're a kid, and now you're in your UFC debut, but this one feels very big. You've got the eyes of the mixed martial arts world on you. Like, I mean, is the pressure getting to you at all ahead of this one? Has it taken on a new meaning ahead of your UFC debut?
To be honest, like, pressure-wise, I think I've gone past this since my amateur debut. Like, it's always been like this, like media, traveling around the world. I think I visited most countries. I went even fought in Australia on my own without coaches. So it's it's not that kind of. The most pressure is in the camp to not get injured and make weight to be professional. But this is like this is part of the job I have to do. No pressure at all, you know.
Mo down here, has this been everything that you've envisaged from the get-go so far, fight week so far?
What do you mean?
I mean, has fight week played out like as you imagined, well, as you manifested and imagined however long ago before you thought right again to the UFC?
Yes, it worked out perfectly. Since I did my professional debut, I said in 2022 I want to be on UFC London, and all my team knows this. I said, and they're like, let's do it. Depends how many fights we're gonna get in COVID times. And I remember like for the debut in Sweden, I couldn't fly, so I have to fly to like some European country, then get a bus, a 9 hours bus to my debut, you know, because I know I need to get. I know it's COVID times, but I need to get some wins in professional game to get on UFC.
And how does it feel to be kicking off the UFC's return to London? I mean, I think it's a sign of the UFC's faith and what's the word I'm looking for, and they're noticing of the stock that you have amongst mixed martial arts fans. They're putting you in the first fight of the night.
UFC knows, you know. UFC knows it's not about your record and stuff like this. You're based in UK. It's about your charisma, and you sell the fight, the views, the everything, you know. And when I put the finish on that night, UFC will give me top 15 guys.
Oh,
Go on,
Cheers, man. And I know it's early days and you've actually yet to step into the octagon, but is the goal still to become the youngest UFC champion?
Yes, 100%, and I believe I can. I believe I can. That's why this opponent is good to get me like maybe top 15 guys, even if it's not top 15. But instead of fighting, like I said before, instead of fighting just like debut guys and who is on losing streak, better to fight like good name to get on the top.
Just in front of you. I'm curious, I know you came to this country at the age of 12, I believe. When did you make the decision that you wanted to represent Britain and not Russia?
Since I came here, you know, like the way UK treated me, like from the refugee camp all the way till like I got my documents, the way they treated me, I came here with a pair of jeans and t-shirt, you know. So I always said I'm gonna represent this country, don't matter what they give me, the passport or not. And I was competing in world championships without actually a passport, and I had the choice to compete with the country.
And I believe you said in 2017 you were almost deported back to Russia, and then after being signed for the UFC, you also got your British citizenship. So how crazy is it looking like back 5 years and now you're a British citizen, you can travel, and you're on the UFC London card?
Yes, in 2017 we got refused with the case, and my solicitor helped me a lot, you know. It was a difficult time for me. It was like, listen, I live here 5 years and now they want to send me back, you know. What this is this fair life, you know? And I want to be some name. That's how I got motivated. I want to be some different refugee than others, so they treat me differently, you know. So I can let the Home Office know that any refugee can be great example for the rest of the people who is coming here, and not just claiming like benefits and sitting at home, you know. So I want to be one of the great example for the government also.
And finally, obviously you said you want to be a champion by the end of 2023, I believe. Have you looked at the top two of the division, the likes of Moreno, Deiveson, Figueiredo, and just what your thoughts are those fighters?
Yes, they're all good, but I watch all of them, you know. I watch like recent fight Moreno Figueiredo. Like Figueiredo, Moreno, I can beat with my wrestling. Figueiredo, I can stand with him all day. Is at that stage is nothing like at the professional level stage of the fighter. It's not like they have some crazy like skills, you know, that you don't know. You're going there, you know, you're gonna hit 1-2 low kick, takedown, so you just have to be mentally ready, you know, sharp, have good training camp without having some headache, you know. And then if you go in, you can compete against anybody top in the world. So I don't see anybody special in that division.
Thank you.
Muhammad at the back. Right here. All good. You know, we see a lot of fighters turn pro these days after 1 or 2 amateur fights. You have over 20 amateur wins. You stuck with it for a long time. I'm just curious, how well prepared do you feel you are because of that with these big fights now? And what made you stick around in the amateurs as long as you did?
I was gonna stay a little bit more amateur to become like 3-time world champion, make a history, but the COVID happened. So why amateur career is good? It's exactly same as UFC backstage. You got like media, you got weigh-ins, you have to make weight. Also, if you get knocked down, you're not competing next day. You know what I mean? Like injury free, making weight every day. If you don't make weight, you're out. You know, so it's it gets you prepared for the professional level, and showing up to the cage every day after fighting like decision fights against #1 from each country, like Russians, like Americans, like around the world. Kazakhstan is like Bahrain. You know, there's like so many good countries competing against #1s. It's really difficult, but you have to get up next morning, make championship weight, and fight again without injuries. You know, it is difficult, but if you go past that stage, professional career, it's easier. You know, make weight once and then you fight.
And I know you talked about wanting to be champion by a certain age, and we've seen that before with Macy Barber. Do you worry that you're putting too much pressure on yourself if you put a deadline on it?
No, I don't. What pressure from who? My team believes in me. My close people believes in me, and like if I have supporters who believes in me, and it's a journey. You know, there's not like a pressure. If I don't make till like 2023, I'm gonna be a bad guy. You know what I mean? So I believe I can, and I will do everything what's possible to get that goal.
Thank you.
Mohammed, just at the back here. When you think about the fight with Cody on Saturday, how do you see it playing out in your head?
Round 2 finish.
And you know, in terms of getting your hand raised, you know, with the crowd in London, how are you expecting to feel?
It's good that I'm early, so I can walk out and see the people, my people who came to support me. Like, and I hope UFC will send me back to a hotel after the fight, so I can watch and support the rest of the fighters who represent UK.
Thank you.
Mohammed, Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam. Good.
So you're just 21 years old and you've been through so much in your life. The guys have mentioned you came here as a refugee at 12 years old. Even last year you got married, I think it was last year you got married as well. There's something that's really stuck to me, and I thought it was really interesting thing that you said in an interview. You said that in school when it was non-uniform day, like you didn't really want to go into school because, you know, you didn't have the nice clothing basically to wear and stuff. And there's so many other stories that you have about your upbringing and those things, and it just makes me think, like, at 21 years old, how do you mentally cope with all of that?
It is difficult, you know, it's very difficult. I'm responsible for all my family, you know. I have to pay the bills, I have to do everything basically. It's a lot of, it's not just like fighting game, there's like, there's life, you know, which is more important than actually, this is my hobby, you know. And going through this helped me to stay focused from like a lot of media now, a lot of sponsorship opportunities, like money getting involved, but that's why it helps me with my focus to remember how hungry I was, why I started this, and if I stop, this all can disappear and I can be in same hole again, you know what I mean? So I just want to stay focused till my family, you know, sorted for the rest of their life, and my kids as well in the future.
I know you said you want to be the champ within the next couple of years. Is part of the reason for that because you're only 21 years old and naturally your body is going to start growing, as it's still growing at the moment. So is that kind of why maybe you've given yourself a little bit of a deadline too, because maybe in a few years' time your body's just going to outgrow flyweight and you're going to need to move up to bantamweight?
It will grow. Most of my fights are bantamweight. Like, this is probably my second fight in flyweight since 2017, to be honest. But I make it. I never missed weight out of 30 fights, and if it grows, we'll see. How it's like in life, you know, you get something thrown at you, you just challenge it, and we'll see. Maybe move to division.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Mohammed over here. There you go.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Do you ever give yourself time to reflect on how far you've come in such a short space of time, and what a journey that you have had to arrive here awaiting your UFC debut?
I do look at the back, like the challenges I went through. I'm looking like in the past I went through some toughness, and then like the closer, further you go in your life, the less challenges coming at you. Maybe because you got used to these challenges, and you start performing better, I believe, because the hard way you little bit done, and now you just concentrate on your performance, not about the life outside as much as you used to be. So, yeah.
There's a lot of talk right now with everything going on in Russia and Ukraine. A lot of talk about refugees and how many should be taken up in this country. Do you look at that and see yourself as such an inspiration to many that potentially are coming over here, and there is a life for them, there is still dreams that they can achieve?
I believe so. There will be a lot of refugees coming over now, and there's always been like from Afghanistan, Syria, this Palestine, you know, there's a lot of refugees always coming, not just Ukraine. So I want to be one of the inspiration for the people, not just like kids, but for the old people. Like, listen, if you come to a different country with just one backpack, you're not lost, you know. So maybe like mindset, maybe it's something become better in your life. If I stayed in Russia, I maybe be working at the petrol station now, you know what I mean? So don't lose your hope, and just adapt to where you're at now.
And finally for me, where did you get your strength from to just keep going?
I believe in God's power. You know, it's like whatever happens. Just have to move on. You know, you cannot sit there. This happened, and I'm depressed. You know, like at some point in my life, you know, like age of like 12, when I didn't understand much in the religion side, I was thinking like, why I've been created? Why is all this toughness coming? You know, like why it happens to me? And then I start learning more, and I become stronger.
Top man, good luck.
Any more questions?
Good, yeah? Thank you guys. Have a good day.